Chat. Everybody right now, I'm about to tell you the number one stock how to make $5 billion in 2025. Alright, bet. Now that you got clickbaited, scammed, and you stayed on the video for more than 5 seconds, we're about to just get into a yap session, bro. I really been thinking about this, and I'm like, you know what? Let me film a YouTube video about it. The entire current state, the current political and economic climate. What's that Jaden Smith meme? No, but let's just get into it. I got 2 buys that I really liked, just for long-term holds and long-term stocks. Obviously we're, Forex trading. So, there was a lot of indicators I've been seeing that I had been on the sidelines this whole time with, the equities market. And now I'm starting to see that there's a real problem, and I'm a buyer now. So chat, we're just going to get into it. The 2 biggest stocks that I love, you can't see the one over there. Don't look on the chart, but the 2 biggest stocks that I love so much in this, bear market, so to speak. So chat, let's just get into it. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the 2 stocks that I love. Then we're going to get into like the whole market as a whole and what is going on. All right, chat. I don't know if you've ever heard of this company. It's called Amazon. They're basically the number one company in the world. I personally think they're the number one company in the world. Chat, I'm a buyer on Amazon. I'm bullish on Amazon. No, the tariffs, this and that. They export from China, yada yada yada. Yeah, if you're thinking 6 months, they might be cooked. Yeah, Amazon might be cooked. But, chat, if we're looking over years and okay, this is the way I think of it. I'm thinking of it like this. If you're entering a marathon, right? AI is the future. You're entering a marathon with Amazon. You have NVIDIA right now as the number one leader. NVIDIA's like freaking Kipchoge, bro. The dude's like a beast marathon runner. He's the best marathon runner. And he starts a mile ahead. NVIDIA's like a mile ahead, so to speak, right now. But guess what? Guess what happens when Huawei out of China produces a better chip? NVIDIA loses market cap. Guess what happens when NVIDIA can't export because Trump doesn't want them to export any of their good chips to China? They lose more market cap. Everybody keeps catching up. It's a problem. I'm bearish on NVIDIA. I don't see... They're obviously a great company in the long term, but my thoughts on Amazon is Amazon can easily become the biggest player in the AI infrastructure, the entire digital data center space, everything. They have the capital, they have everything. AWS is literally a top 5 technical provider. It's literally Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Amazon. Those are the top 5. Come at me. Maybe I'm tripping. So you're basically getting AWS, Amazon Web Services, a top 5 tech company attached to the number one retailer in the world. That's like if NVIDIA was owned by Walmart. Are we stupid? Do I think Amazon comes down in here and sweeps down in here at 150? Yes, I do. Will I buy more then? Yes. Am I going to buy any more in this area? No. I like kind of the price that it's at right now. And if it wants to come down and it's an actual recession, and let's be honest, chat, do we think Amazon's going to do that good in the next 2-3 weeks? I bought now because there's a possibility it does turn around. And we'll get into that now. But their earnings are coming up as well. Their earnings are later in this week. They're going to probably beat their earnings because the tariffs aren't priced in yet. The next earnings quarter, probably going to get smoked. They'll be priced in. But you know what? They always have these ways around it. Like, you would think the next earnings in 3 months, they're going to be like, oh, we lost, $500 million. No, because they're going to come out with some low estimate and be like, well, the tariffs were bad, so we're not projecting that much growth. And they're going to end up beating it because they already know what they're going to make. And they're going to beat it. And everyone's going to be like, whoa, Amazon beat it in this tariff. They're in this tariff, bear market. And everyone's going to be like, whoa, Amazon's good, and keep shooting the price up, So they got the ways around it. Bezos in his bald head, they'll figure it out. But that's the thing. You're literally getting Microsoft and Target packaged in one. You're basically getting Google and freaking Publix. Like, that's literally what you're getting. Like with Amazon and AWS, they're the same company and you're getting it at 167. That's like literally Nvidia and Walmart merged together. I mean, it's like literally, I couldn't see. Like, I think this is a. I don't know about, all the way up here, 240. I mean, this was overvalued. But I mean, in the next 5 years, yeah. But like in the next, 2, 3 years after everything weans out, even after Trump's gone, whatever your political views are, or if Trump could turn around this market and people don't see it. I think 220 is very fair. I think 220 is very fair. So we come down here, we take a little bit of pain in the short term. I could obviously see it. Obviously, bear market, everything like that. We're going to talk about that. The second stock that I love, everyone's talking about this and that. Everyone's talking about AI this, AI that, AI this, AI that. I wanted some AI exposure. I wanted some AI exposure. I just didn't know the correct way to do it. I'm new to this whole thing too. This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. I'm just, I'm just a bozo with like $50. So, me and my $50, I'm gonna turn my $50 into $75. Let's go. Um, Look, this company, Vertiv, they were soaring $150 off the highs. I mean, look at how, this was overpriced, let's be honest. I mean, the stock was cut in half. 150 to 70. I mean, it was literally halved. Literally half the $150 stock. Now, we did just search these lows, monthly lows, and we are getting a nice push to the upside. Day trading mind. With this market we're currently in, you're stupid if you don't think AI is the future. You're just on the slow bus right now, I wanted some AI exposure to some degree. I don't love NVIDIA. I mentioned the analogy with AI. AI is too competitive, guys. Let's use our brains here. Google, you put all your chips in on Google. What happens if everybody in America, we all spread all our wealth between Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all these people, and NVIDIA, and then China comes over the top with Huawei or whatever other chip company they have, and it comes out in 2 years, they literally got the best chip. They're 5 years ahead of us. We're nowhere near them. They're about to have robots. They're about to have this. They're about to have that. And nobody wins in America. Nobody. That's very possible, is it not? All of those AI companies will be wiped. They'll be wiped. Now, what they won't do is quit. They're not going to quit. They're not going to give up. They're going to try and catch up to China. Now, it's very possible that NVIDIA is the leader in the clubhouse, probably right now, that they just have the best chips and they continue to produce the best chips and they just run away with it. It's very possible that Microsoft, the main key in all this is just being a new investor and everything. There's one commonality of all these things: TSMC, NVIDIA, all the chip manufacturers, and all the Magnificent Seven companies. It's this one key thing. Remember this. I don't know. I'm assuming we're all beginners. I just learned about this too. Data centers. It's where all the data is stored. It's like what trains ChatGPT, Gemini, and all these things, and DeepSeek. They have to have these monster warehouses, these monster facilities to store all the data to constantly use to house these supercomputers and all their data so that they can continue to train the AI with all new information every single day so that they can continue. It's basically just like storing all the internet and everything. It's literally like the most important thing. It's the fastest growing industry. They're growing 20% year over year. Like, if AI is going to boom, we got to have these big data centers. Now, they're super expensive. They're super hard to build. You need chips. You need this. You need that. You need this. You need that. There's a lot of pushback on it, because of the energy crisis and how much energy it produces, because of how much energy these supercomputers need and how many of them are. Anything. If you guys want a full video on data centers, I might drop one later this week. But I wanted some AI exposure because, let's be honest, AI, if you're not looking at it, you're on the slow bus. Let's be honest. You got to have some exposure. It's coming whether you like it or not. And this company caught my eye, VRT, Vertiv. Their earnings are coming this week as well. And I had been watching it at around 73, and I loved 67, I think, is the price. Not financial advice. This is not financial advice. I'm just literally spewing my opinion. It means nothing. Um, but this company specializes in power and cooling. Now, anybody who owns Apple products and they're on FaceTime and they're scrolling on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever, you realize your phone gets so hot and you literally need to cool it down. And it says it has to get overheated. Now, imagine if your phone, if you were on FaceTime, TikTok, Instagram, iMessages, uh, Clash Royale, um, and every other app on your entire phone at once. You know how overheated your phone would be? That's basically what it's like to be a supercomputer. They're literally getting funneled with every information up to the minute. They're burning hot. And guess what happens when things get burning hot? They overheat and they blow up and, stuff. I don't know if they blow up, but they just like they just stop working. Vertiv Holdings is a cooling company. Plain and simple. They want to talk about their power, this and that. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. I know them as a cooling company. They cool the stuff down. They're the number one company for cooling. They have power indicators as well that help power the supercomputers and stuff like that. I don't know how much of the business, how much of the revenue is generated from that. I know they're the number one cooler. And I know personally from experience that these technology, it gets hot. It's a problem. Their earnings are going to come out. They're going to beat their earnings. I'm assuming they're going to beat their earnings. They've been doing good. And these data centers are growing. There's growing demand. They're in a business that's growing 20% year over year. You know, there's demand for these supercomputers and the maintenance that requires with the supercomputers. I think VRT is a great spot at 67. Now, can it continue to keep going? I love the spot, especially from a day trading view. We sweep these monthly lows. We're filling gaps. We filled this gap. Take monthly lows. We filled this gap. There's no other gaps really to take. There's this low all the way down here at 35. I personally don't think that'll ever happen again. This is such a good stock. It was trading at 150. There was so much hype around it up in, is this January? Yeah, this was at the beginning of the year. They got crushed with the sell-off and everything. But the thing that I love about them is there's no competition. There's Constellation Energy, I think, and Schneider Electric. But the cooling is so, niche, and it's such a good market to be in. And when they're number one and there's no specific strong competitor and they have good management, I really think that this is a company that like 100 is like a stable point. Like I think when everything passes, and another thing is Microsoft has got to build data centers. Amazon and Microsoft said they were going to try and stall doing it because of the energy crisis. But guess what? That's not going to last. Even if China beats us to it, America's going to ramp up production. They're going to say we're incentivizing these companies. Whoever catches up to China, whoever's president at the time, if it's Trump or if it's in the next 4 years, these aren't short-term holds. These are long-term holds, Amazon and Vertiv. But whoever comes in, they're going to say, we got to do something. We got to ramp up AI production. We can't be the laggard. We can't be lagging behind China or any other country. So you got companies like, guess what? Amazon signs a deal with someone else, a new competitor. Oh, well, Microsoft could sign them, Google, Meta. There's all of them. There's plenty of opportunities, and they all got to build centers. And they're the number one leader in the clubhouse right now. That's why I wanted some AI exposure. I didn't want to risk with Google and Microsoft, and especially in this market, I didn't want anything to do with the Mag 7 except for Amazon. I think Amazon's part of the Magnificent 7, just because we talked about Amazon. Now, chat, let's get into the what you call it. We're gonna come back over here. We could just do like a little, am I still recording? We could do like a little fear and greed. Fear and greed. You could just go on CNN Fear and Greed Index. See, it's 22 right now. It was 19. Isn't it? Yeah, the lower. Extreme fear. Yeah, the lower it is like extreme fear. Yeah. We're on 22. We're in extreme fear right now. It was about 18 earlier today, so that's honestly good. Um, this is a problem, chat. So this is what I was going over. Let's go over the market itself. Now, I'm a bozo, but I figure that there's three ways that the market moves, or like three driving factors. Equities, the stock market, bonds, and like treasury. That's like the super safe thing. Let me save that. Number one, equities. Like just stuff that is like correlated to the US wealth. Number one, equities. Stocks. Stocks are high. People are buying them. Sometimes they get overvalued, but guess what? Stocks swing $20 and this and that, and you could pump stocks and this and that, right? So it's very volatile. Stocks are very volatile. So people expect that, the stock market. But if the bonds, then the next step, I'm getting ahead of myself. The bonds. You have the bonds and like the treasury. I have no clue basically what it is. People be talking about yield curve and all that. Bro, I'm about to go to sleep. Nobody is listening to no yield curve talk. All I know is that it's supposed to be super safe and it's not supposed to move that much. Well, I keep watching CNBC, and they're talking about how it's super volatile and it's making swings it never has, and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a problem. It's supposed to just go up very slowly, incrementally, and it's like you're buying bonds and you get paid dividends and interest and, all those big fancy words, whatever, right? But it's not doing that. It's like it's jumping around a little too much. Like it's making big swings that it doesn't normally do. And then we have number three. Me as a Forex trader, let's just see. Let's go in here. This is the dollar against the yen. This is basically all of April. So we have equities. Then we have equities, treasuries, bonds, then the US dollar. The US dollar is getting absolutely crushed. And today it got absolutely smoked. This is the dollar against the Japanese yen. So basically, if this chart goes down, that means the dollar gets weaker. Because that means it takes less yen to buy a dollar. So that means the Japanese yen is getting stronger against the dollar, which should never be happening because, America's economy is just, so big and so powerful, kind of thing. That's why it takes 140 yen to buy $1 right now. But at the beginning of April, it was 150. It's getting crushed. So let's just use our brains here. We have dollar getting killed. Treasuries and bonds are slowly going down and making big swings they never have before. That's two red flags. You're basically like Jacob deGrom right now, and you're about to throw strike three. Meanwhile, equities are getting killed. Bear market, recession, boom. Chat, are we cooked? Probably so. Anyways, let me do not financial advice. I don't think we're cooked. But now let's get into what's causing all this. I'm no political person and all that, but man, this does seem like... Okay, all I know is that we're getting screwed on the trade. We're getting literally finessed. Like, we're literally getting so finessed on trade, it's not even funny. But, man, I don't know if, President Trump's going about this the right way. Obviously, I think he had good intentions trying to lower. His main goal is trying to lower the debt. Let's be honest, he wants to lower the U.S. debt. That's a good, obviously it's a good thing. And, he's doing it by trade, trying to get the trade, in balance. But, man, I just think it's the wrong way. And obviously, I'm not the only one who thinks it's the wrong way. I just don't think he's doing it the right way. I think, maybe he's got good intentions. But, man, is he doing it the wrong way? And obviously, all of America does not think he's doing it the right way. Like, I don't know how to say it. But, like, I'm new to this stuff as well. I just think there's got to be a better way to do this. There's extreme fear in the market. Now, I think we're going to like a point of no return. People keep talking about the stagflation thing, how it's worse than inflation. I watch TikToks on it, so I'm sitting up here talking. I watch TikToks on it. But what I'm saying is like this now President Trump's stuck in between a rock, like a really difficult rock, like he's basically stuck between like a mega boulder, which is mega boulder one, which is just continue with the tariffs and say, no, someone's got to cave. Or he's stuck between like a slightly softer rock, but it's still like a big rock that's going to hurt big time if he tries to break through this one, is if he caves. That's going to look so bad on America, like that's just such a problem. If he caves and, gives in. Now, I think there's certain ways that he can go about this, because if he continues to just say, no, we're going to rock with the tariffs, you have to do this, you have to do that, the world's going to cut us out. Now, they can't cut us out completely, but there's already things where China's getting beef from Australia. Someone else is getting stuff from Korea that they used to get from us. Or, South American countries, stuff like that. They're getting stuff from other places because they're saying they're not going to pay the tariffs for America. Now, so that's a problem, because then we're going to suffer long term. Now, I really think the best idea would be to cave or some sort of. We still have like a stronghold over countries that we're bigger than. We're in a really bad spot with China. A really bad spot with China. I don't really know what to do about that. I have no clue. To be honest, I would just try and be friends. Like, I would just be like, send him a gift basket or something. Xi Jinping, send him a gift basket. I don't know. That would be my guess, because like China seems to be like the, on our heels or ahead of us with energy and with AI and stuff like that. I'll just send them, a fruit basket. Some nothing bundt cakes. Ready? Someone clip this. President Trump, if you want to save the U.S. economy, one thing, we're going to fix the trade. Okay, ready? Rule number one. All right, ready? Let's get a clip here. President Trump, if you want to fix the American economy, listen to me, someone who knows absolutely nothing about economics. Rule number one, what are we going to do? We're going to send Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, a gift basket. Preferably nothing bundt cakes, not red velvet ones, probably the chocolate ones with the cream cheese frosting. Number two, we're probably going to lessen the tariffs, but still keep, lower the trade imbalance a little bit, but not all this 50% stuff. But, I think your intentions were good. We're just not doing it the right way. So thank you, President Trump. We got to fix it, though. We're not cooking right now. Number three, I would say implement one more national holiday. Let's give the people another 3-day weekend, days off of school. Everyone will like that, and everyone will forget about the economy. Boom. I just helped everyone. Good clip. Anyways, back to the talk. Yeah, people don't like this. 22 on Fear and Greed Index. This is a problem. That's why. But you want to know something? I bought now because I'm giving Trump credit. He saw the 90-day pause thing. He saw the economy was tanking. He saw when there was a fake report of the 90-day pause, how big the market jumped. And he said, oh man, this is my way out, He said, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to do this. And because he knew he was in a little bit too deep, he did that. Boom, market jumped back a little bit. Now it's like, oh, well, why'd we jump back up? We still got all these tariffs and we don't know what to do. We got to pay all these goods. Who the taxes get passed down to? The consumer. Like, you think all these mega companies, you think Apple's gonna just eat 10% of their profits? No. Little Gerald's going to have to buy an iPhone 17. It's going to cost like $14,000 now. Tim Cook's not eating the cost. What do you think, he's stupid? He's going to raise it on us. But anyways, I'm yappy now. It's a 25-minute video. Those are my thing. Gift basket. And yeah, other than that, I think we're okay, though. Like, people are talking about recession, stagflation, all this stuff, but the point of no return. I think if you just act fast, and this was the point where I bought, because someone's got to act now. Now that we have equities, treasuries, and bonds, and the U.S. dollar getting killed. President Trump doesn't like Fed Chair Powell. He hates Powell. He hates him. And I don't think Powell likes Trump. But one of them's going to have to give in. And I honestly think in this case it'll be President Trump, because I don't think the Fed chair is he's gonna wait till May, and I don't know if President Trump can wait till May. Maybe we'll see. But with all three of them going down, someone's gonna have to give in, and that's why I think this is gonna have to end sooner than later. And I think the U.S. will be okay. In a couple years, we'll bounce back, but this one might stink for a little bit. All right, chat. This was not financial advice. Don't listen to anything I just said. Peace out.